Hello, and welcome to the Inner Bully Beatdown podcast. I am your host, Brittany Fowler. I am also the author of the book, Inner Bully Beatdown. I am also a breakthrough mentor and motivational speaker. So if you would like me to come speak to you, please visit my website at brittanyfowler.com. Enjoy this podcast. Hey friends, we are officially on episode 10. And I am so grateful for all the listeners that have shared this podcast and who are now listening to the podcast and who just love me as much as I love you. I feel like a kind of a responsibility towards y'all. Every week I really ponder and I really think on what I'm supposed to share. And a part of my sharing today has just come from my growth this past week. And then I'll read a part of my book to you. I have been listening to a book called Real Love by Baer, B-A-E-R. I think his first name is Greg, but don't quote me on that. I don't have it in front of me. But he talks about that book. I'm listening to it on Audible, and the book, I actually want to buy the physical book because it is full of so many golden nuggets when it comes to relationships. But one thing that has really struck me as he has been teaching or speaking through his book, has been the fact that we all do some sort of getting or protecting behaviors to play the victim in getting what we want. And in relationships, that attention that comes from those getting or protecting behaviors is never satisfying. For example, if we nag at our husbands, ladies, and we are acting a certain way so that we will get something from them, when they actually do mate all the socks, or they actually do the dishes or take out the trash, it's not real love. It's just so that they'll get you off their back. It's a getting behavior. It's not showing compassion or love in a unconditional way so that we can experience like the true joy from being in a relationship. Now, that's like a tiny example, but you'll have to listen to the book. But these getting and protecting behaviors I'm noticing in myself. And the growth that I've experienced this past week is understanding that the praise that I seek when I do something is a getting behavior. So praise is a form of conditional love. It's not unconditional love. And I already knew this, but I didn't understand all of it, right? I knew that I like praise, like words of affirmation telling me how great something is or how well I did something, or noticing that I cleaned the entire house. I want that praise. I want that recognition. I've always thrived on that, but I didn't put it together that praise and that recognition was conditional love, not unconditional love. And what we are all seeking in our relationships is unconditional love. And I realized that a lot of the things I do, I'm seeking praise for. And for the first time this week, I have put service into perspective, like the service that I do. I went down to my parents' house. They bought this fixer-upper, and it was a fixer-upper. They've gutted the entire house, and we were working on their outside, and I went down with the intent of, okay, this is not a getting behavior. I truly just want to serve my parents for the good of it, just to be nice. And the greater love that I felt for my parents, and through those projects and re-shingling their shed roof was just, it made my heart grow fonder of my parents instead of seeking the, oh, thank you. Because when they actually said thank you and they wanted to take us out to lunch, it was easy to say, no, it's great. We're just happy to serve you, instead of reveling on the praise. Does that make sense? And then I just had this overwhelming feeling that in my family, because I expect praise when I do something, because in the past I have expected thank you, thanks for doing the dishes, Mom, or thanks for dinner, or this was really great, or oh my gosh, you're the best mom ever, or when I wouldn't get those reactions. That's when I became upset. That's when I felt more unloved. That's when the unhappiness in my relationships would set in. And I'm realizing now that really, if I were to do all things in my relationships for the benefit of someone else, just because I wanted to make them happy, because I cared about them, right? That's unconditional love. Anyway, it's shaping my relationship. It's changing the way I'm thinking about my relationships with my kids, with my husband, and with my friends. And I didn't think about this, and I haven't applied this yet, but the relationship with my higher power, like, are we doing things to get things back? Are we doing a getting or a protecting behavior? I'm not much of a protecting behavior because I don't ever really feel that that's necessary in my relationships, but I can see that in other people. I can see that in other relationships where they will act a certain way. They will act the victim so that they will get the praise, get the attention, get the sympathy, get the empathy, and protect themselves from further, I guess, harm or whatever. So anyway, it's an interesting listen. I'm going to get the book just so I can have it in my library. I always listen to books on Audible first, before I actually add it to my library, because I have limited space for books, and I'm not much of a book junkie. I like to listen to them, right? Because I'm just constantly busy. That's the time of life that I'm in. And the other thing that has really shaped this week has been a book that I found in my kids' room. It's called The Unbored Adventure. And basically it says like 70 things that you can do during the summer to not be bored. And I was just needing a break from everything. And so I was like, I need some mindless reading. So I was reading this book, and the author of the book, he like climbs mountains, and travels really far. And so he's trying to teach these kids, like, get out and have your own adventure, and, go hiking, and this is what you take when you go hiking, like, because you need a 72-hour kit, and he's more educational, and he's kind of prepping them to take their own adventures. Like, it's a great book. So he said something really profound. He said, stand on the horizon of your comfort zone and see what you see. And there's always this common saying, everything you want is just outside your comfort zone, or there is no growth within your comfort zone. And I've come to believe in the past year, after meeting some mentors, that they like to look at their comfort zone as expanding it, not leaving it. Because when we think about leaving our comfort zone, it gets very scary, right? Because you don't want to leave your warm bed in the morning to go outside and like freeze to death or something. Like, that's kind of how we think about comfort zones. It's like, oh, nice, warm, cozy bed. And then we're like, you must grow. You must experience more. You must suffer. But if we can just think of our comfort zone as expanding it, right, then we're always in it, but we're including more things that become comfortable to us. I think it makes action more doable in a quicker way. So, anyways, but I was thinking about this, like, stand on the horizon of your comfort zone. So I asked myself, well, what would I see? What would I see if I actually stood on the horizon of my comfort zone? And for me, it's kind of like going to Montana, where the big wide open sky and the trees and the forests and you got running water. Like, I'm always standing on this picture of this cliff where, not necessarily if I jump off, I'll die, but it's just like I'm higher up. I have a better view of my life. I can't see what's coming towards me, and I can't see what I will actually experience. But it's like the sunlight is always shining through me, like on me and through me, like supporting me in my new adventures. And so I would ask you, what do you see when you stand on the horizon of your comfort zone? And I would be interested to see and bring this into my mentoring and kind of work through, because if it's fear, if it's darkness, if something has shapes, or if something has, emotions attached to it, I would be interested to see. So anyway, that was just one tidbit that has kind of opened up my outlook this week. So let me share with you part of my book again this week, because I thought last week it went really well. So in chapter 4 of my book, it's there are about 3 bullies that we tackle, and they all relate to self-judgment, inner bullies. And so I'm going to read you a few paragraphs from the final pages. Nothing is more dangerous to your health than judgment. Over time, it makes you bitter, angry, and lonely. All these emotions play a huge role in our gut health. If you're struggling in this area physically, take a look at the judgment and comparison you're saying to yourself and doing to others. I bet you'll find that when you actually take an accurate inventory of your behavior, you'll be disgusted